Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to discuss this article that popped up on the church newsroom website talking about where all the members of the church live in the United States. Um, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, hit the notification bell, and make sure to leave comments so I can hear what you think about this. All right, so this article may not come as a surprise to many of you. It didn't really to me, but there are a couple interesting things about it, and there is one thing that kind of surprised me. So it starts out, Utah is home to just less than 1/3 of the Latter-day Saints who live in the United States. California has the second largest share of American members of the church, with about one ninth of the total. And then it has this graph down here. So we're going to blow that up and take a look. So we have the top three here. We have Utah with 31.6%, California with 11.3%, Idaho with 6.9%. Okay. I did a little calculation, and if you take the top five, including Arizona and Texas, 61% of all members of the church in the United States live in these 5 states. So more than half live in 5 states, and then less than half live in the rest of the 45 remaining states. And I don't know about you, but I think for me that's kind of a problem. And I think that there's something that we can do about it. Now, now just hear me out, okay? If you at all have any sort of inkling about moving out of these states, if you live in Utah, that's where you grew up, or whatever the case may be, or California, or Mesa, Arizona, maybe consider, just consider moving somewhere else. And I would actually encourage you to think about the Midwest. I say that because home prices are amazing here. If you live in any of these states right here, Utah, California, Idaho, Arizona, not Texas, um, partially Texas, but Texas, no. Washington, virtually anywhere west of Kansas um, is basically really expensive. And I don't think it's always been that way. It's a more recent phenomenon. California is really expensive, and there seems to be a trend where Californians, for various reasons, but I think mainly because of home prices, are starting to leave California and move into these other western states, which is helping to drive those home prices up. And I think some are starting to leave the West and move back east, whether that's the Midwest or further east. Now, I grew up in Utah. I lived there until my late 20s. After that, we moved to Arizona for a short time, and then I joined the Army, got stationed in Texas, was there for a little while, went back after the Army to Arizona, and then we decided that we wanted to homestead. And it was a big change in my life, and that's why the name of my channel is Latter-day Homestead, or the Latter-day Homestead. It's because that's like the main thing that we're doing right now with our lives. Uh, we tried to do that in Arizona, and we looked at Utah and Idaho, and it was virtually impossible to do, okay, without getting into a lot of debt. So we started looking at Missouri first, and when we did that, well, no, sorry, we started with Texas, and then we expanded to Missouri and then Kansas. But when we started our search on Zillow, looking at properties, because we wanted, at least like 5 acres of land, that was like our minimum. We were blown away by what we were finding compared to compared to what was available in Utah, Arizona, um, because you could get so much land, and then on that land, a house along with maybe a guest house or a barn, a chicken coop, workshop, any number of like outbuildings. And I would like look at these prices and be like, what the heck? Like, it's only this price compared to, $500,000 back in Arizona or Utah. Like, in the town that I live in, when you talk to people about home prices, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that person, they live like in a really nice house. It's like $100,000. It's like $100,000." Excuse me. And we're just like, we come here and we're like, what is this world that we're in right now? Because, back in Utah, it's like you couldn't get like a shack for $100,000. Um, so if you're a young family, a young couple, um, or whatever your case may be, if you're ready to maybe move and do something different, think about moving out of Utah and Idaho and in these places, okay? And I say that because I think the Lord could probably use you in other places. You know, you know this phenomena, like when you go into like a class and everybody sits toward the back, and then the teacher is like, "Okay, everybody, I need everyone to move forward. You need to come sit up here so you can hear me and so we can interact." Well, I think that that's kind of the phenomena that's happening here in the U.S. with church membership. Like, I really, really do think we have too many of us living in these places, and that's like the back of the classroom. And we need to get out and we need to spread the word, because missionary work is so much more effective when members are involved. But if all the members are in just like six, or I mean like 5 states, uh, that's really sad for all these other locations. We need to get out there. And I get it. Like, I know that for a lot of people, the primary motivation to stay in these areas or in the Western United States is because you want to stay near family. But there does come a time, like it says in the scriptures, that you separate from your parents, you cleave to your spouse, and now you are a new family unit. And we live in a day and age where we have technology that allows us to easily connect with others. And you can talk to them every day and see them um, by Zoom or Skype or Facebook or whatever. And I've noticed that by moving far away, it's like, although I miss family, we have like basically established a new family here. Like, because like the big concern is like, oh, well, what if something happens and you need help? You need someone to come tow your car, or something happens with the house. There are people that will help you. Especially here in the Midwest, people are really friendly. Out in the country, everyone is like there to help each other. And you also have a ward family. You have people that you can ask for help, and you have people that can watch your kids if you need to go to the temple. We just recently did that, and it wasn't an issue. Um, you know, the area that I live in right now, this ward, it geographically it's gigantic. Okay, um, it takes us like 45 minutes to get to church, and I think at the furthest point we have another couple that actually moved here from Idaho. They live kind of close to us, and it takes them about an hour to get to church. And that may seem scary, but it really isn't. It's not that big of a deal. I know that it is like when you live in a tiny little urban area like Salt Lake or Phoenix or whatever, but when you get out here and you start living that, it's not a big deal at all. Okay? Like, in fact, we don't have like we have a couple small grocery stores here in town. We have a Dollar General. But if we need like other stuff like at Walmart, Target, Costco, we just drive an hour to Wichita, or we'll go down south into Oklahoma, and it's not a big deal at all. Maybe we'll do that trip like a couple times a week, and there's other people that do that too. There's people that live here that that are used to it, to make it work. So if I can do it, if all these other people here can do it, you can do it too. And you'll still have contact with your family. And um, it's just like, just think about it. Everyone is an individual and we all have different paths. And it's something to think about and to pray about and get inspiration for. But, hopefully maybe this can be an answer to one of your prayers for whoever watches this. I really don't think we should all just congregate together in these places. When Brigham Young in the pioneers, when they reached the Salt Lake Valley, he almost immediately sent people out to establish colonies in other places, including Mesa, Arizona, and California and stuff like that. Um, I don't, I'd be curious to see what he thinks right now. If he was to see this graph, like, what would Brigham Young think? Do you think that he would be happy with that? Or do you think that he would expect people to move and spread the gospel? We can't just put it all on the missionaries, right? And we got to do some of the legwork ourselves. We're no longer in a situation where we have to like run for safety and escape the United States into Mexico so we can not be persecuted and tarred and feathered. It is not 1880 anymore. Okay, we are now in 2021, and you can easily move. In fact, the more hostile parts of the country are now where you live in the West, by California. California is like the most hostile place you could possibly live if you're a Latter-day Saint and if you stay true to your values, right? If you want to be surrounded by others that have the same values as you, they may not have the same gospel or the same theology, but if you want to live with really good, humble, kind-hearted people, move to the Midwest or move to like Kentucky, Tennessee, or the South, Alabama, Mississippi. Why not? I really think that there's people there that need you. And instead of staying in Utah and trying to purchase a big cookie cutter HOA home, think about leaving that place and buying something that you can actually afford. A lot of us want to buy those homes because we're trying to impress somebody. Um, we're trying to maintain a certain social status, right? And having a home like that is part of that. But do you think in the long run that really matters to the Lord or to your eternal progression? I, as I found out, am happy to trade because we were renting a 2,800 square foot HOA home in the Southwest Valley in Phoenix, and it was a nice area. And there are perks, but it's nothing compared to here. We live in a much smaller house, but we have all this land, which comes with privacy, and it gives us the ability to have animals. We have chickens, we have cows. Like, you can watch the rest of my videos. We didn't get the 5 acres that we wanted to because we were doing a VA loan, and it was hard to find what we wanted with a VA loan. But 2 acres is more than enough for me and my small family. And I feel a lot more prepared now, both for disaster and being able to take care of ourselves and raise our own food, as well as living within our means. Okay, like for how much I pay every month on this mortgage, if I went back to Utah, there are like apartments that would be twice this much, and I'd be living in an apartment, right? But I have this property where I have a stream that runs through it, so we can go get water if we need. If it was like really dire situation, we could go get water from there, purify it. We'd have our cattle that we could slaughter. We can also milk them because we have some dairy cows. We have our chickens and turkeys, and we're getting fresh eggs. We have a garden in the backyard. So we're less financially strained, right? It's going to be much easier for us to pay this house off really quickly. We're able to take care of all the necessities of life if like civilization goes away, if there's like the worst case scenario. And we are in the last days, so that's something to think about. Um, so there's a lot of benefits to you, both financially and also from a preparedness standpoint. But spiritually, there are people here in these places, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, um, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Arkansas, Louisiana. There's people there that need you. People that need you to introduce them to the gospel. And there's members of the church here that need you, that are looking for friends. You know, we're small, tight-knit communities here. Um, we need more people, and we need more temples over here as well. We can't just keep building temples in Utah. Like, come here and help us build temples here and help us gather Israel here. Um, I mean, you guys that are, out west, you're living in a desert, and you can survive there. There's farmland and stuff, but like, it's much easier for just the average Joe to grow things here, I think, in Utah than it is in Arizona or in Vegas. Or Vegas is another big, LDS community. Um, so anyway, I'm just kind of like rambling, but just look at this chart. And again, I don't think Brigham Young would be happy with this. I don't think that the Lord is either. Just remember that, um, you can keep in contact with family, you can get land, you can become more financially stable and save money. There's just so much to consider. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I was just kind of stunned. More than half of the entire church in the United States live in just 5 states. Just 5 states. So think about it. Think about it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. If you liked it, uh, hit the notification bell, and let me know what you think about this. Like, am I wrong, or do you have any counterpoints to consider? Have you thought about leaving Utah, leaving Idaho? Have you thought about moving east? Let me know. I'd be interested to know. I'll talk to you guys later.